Always.
You know?
Whether you have plans or whether you don't, it's just a time to just chill out.
Yeah.
You just have to just sit there and not do anything.
Except for listen to Power English.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, of course, Saturday we have an article for you.
Mm-hmm.
And the topic is mansplaining. This word has been around for a while. It's kind of a new word that was created maybe 2 decades ago?
Yeah. Like somewhere between 10 and 20 years ago,
right.
We've had this new word, mansplaining, which is a combination of 2 words.
Right. It's man plus explaining.
Yes.
So it's basically not welcoming. It's not it has a kind of negative connotation that if someone is mansplaining, it's like a man who is explaining a certain concept to a woman because he feels that she wouldn't understand.
Yeah. It's that feeling of they're explaining it to you because they think you're stupid. Right? That's the feeling that you get.
Very condescending.
Yeah.
Kind of putting down.
Yeah, condescending, of course, meaning looking down on someone.
So, but today's article says mansplaining isn't just a man thing. So, we just automatically assume it's a man speaking. But I guess it could apply to women too.
Yeah.
We'll see how this works. We've got an expression here, focus on. If you focus on something,
you're putting your attention toward that thing.
Okay. In line with.
In line with means it matches or it goes along with, it is consistent with something.
All right. And if you are prone to, P-R-O-N-E,
means the possibility is high. Often, it's something that is likely to happen.
Yes, very good. Let's go ahead and listen to our article.
A study by researchers from Columbia Business School and Stanford University focused on unsolicited advice, often referred to as mansplaining, and found that it has similar negative effects regardless of whether it comes from men or women. Women read scenarios involving uninvited career advice and reported feeling less respected or valued. However, when the advice came from a woman, participants were less likely to attribute it to gender stereotypes. The study suggests that when someone gives advice in a way that is in line with the recipient's needs, it is better received. Future research may explore why people are prone to giving unsolicited advice and its impact on women's careers.
Okay, please turn to page 104. Let's begin the article, Cam. A study by researchers from Columbia Business School and Stanford University focused on unsolicited advice, often referred to as mansplaining, and found that it has similar negative effects regardless of whether it comes from men or women. Okay, that's a long sentence. Let's break it up. They did a study, okay? And they focused on unsolicited advice. So first of all, unsolicited advice is our power vocab. So we know advice, when someone gives you advice, but what is unsolicited advice?
It is advice that you did not ask for. So you're just living your life, doing your own thing, and someone pops up and says, you should do this.
Yeah. I highly recommend that you do this.
And you're thinking, I didn't ask you. That is unsolicited advice.
Right. It's a nice way of saying, I didn't ask.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why you're telling me.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. Okay. So, they focused on this kind of advice.
Yes.
Because typically, Cameron, we think of advice as being good. Right?
Yeah.
When you have a problem.
Yeah, you go to a mentor, a role model. What should I do in this situation?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So they focused on something. So if a study focuses on a certain topic,
This is a phrase you'll often hear when talking about research. Research focuses on blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And it's what their main attention is on. They were looking at this unsolicited advice. They weren't looking at other topics.
Okay. All right. Let's continue. And so this mansplaining we talked about, and it is kind of unsolicited advice, or it's not something you asked for an explanation.
Right.
Okay? And it says here that it has similar negative effects whether you're a woman or a man.
It's just annoying.
Yeah, it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's continue.
Women read scenarios involving uninvited career advice and reported feeling less respected or valued.
Okay. So women, they didn't want career advice, but they got it.
Yes.
And how did they feel?
They didn't feel good. They felt less respected.
Yeah.
They didn't feel valued.
Right.
Basically, they felt like the other person thought they were dumb.
Dumb, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. However, when the advice came from a woman, participants were less likely to attribute to gender stereotypes. Okay, so if a man speaks to a woman, it's like, it makes them feel bad. Okay? If it's unsolicited. Here it says when it comes from a woman, how do they feel?
They feel bad, but they don't think, oh, it's because they're a woman they're saying this.
Yeah.
If it's from a man, they think,
oh, because it's a man.
He's a man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And he thinks women are dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's saying that the person who's giving the advice, if it's a man or a woman, changes the reason that they think that this is making them feel bad.
So our power pattern today is less likely to.
Yes.
Okay. So less likely to?
The probability is lower. It isn't zero, but it is not as often, not as probable as the other way.
So a woman who receives advice, unsolicited advice from another woman, is less likely to feel, terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The study suggests that when someone gives advice in a way that is in line with the recipient's needs, it is better received. Okay. So, if you give advice that is needed,
Yes.
okay, that is in line with the recipient's needs, can you rephrase that?
So in line with the recipient's needs, you could also say matches the recipient's needs.
Okay.
Or answers the recipient's needs. Here, the advice was not asked for. The person did not ask. But even still, if the advice is good, oh, that's what I needed.
Right.
They're much more likely to accept it.
Right. They didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
But, hey, I could take that advice.
Yes.
Okay. So if something is in line with something else, it means that it is connected.
Yeah. It is not going against.
Okay. Let's continue.
Future research may explore why people are prone to giving unsolicited advice and its impact on women's careers.
Okay, so why people are prone to giving unsolicited advice. So they're going to have more studies. Why do people do that?
Yeah.
Why are they prone to give advice anyway?
Yes.
Prone to.
So prone to means likely to do something. And when we're talking about people, it's almost like we're programmed to do something.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Unless we're concentrating to not do it, we're really likely to do it.
To do it.
Yeah, that's what this prone to means here. More probable.
Yeah.
Just naturally.
So the research in the future wants to find out, why is that? Why are people more prone to giving unsolicited advice?
Yeah, why? They didn't ask you. Why do you say something?
But I think that we do it even without us knowing, Cameron, sometimes.
Yeah.
When you're just talking and you know a little something, you want to share it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe sometimes we kind of want to feel smart.
Yeah.
We want to feel like we know.
To show off what we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's our human tendency. All right, let's go ahead and listen to that article one more time.
A study by researchers from Columbia Business School and Stanford University focused on unsolicited advice, often referred to as mansplaining, and found that it has similar negative effects regardless of whether it comes from men or women. Women read scenarios involving uninvited career advice and reported feeling less respected or valued. However, when the advice came from a woman, participants were less likely to attribute it to gender stereotypes. The study suggests that when someone gives advice in a way that is in line with the recipient's needs, it is better received. Future research may explore why people are prone to giving unsolicited advice and its impact on women's careers.
It's time for Power No. We're on pages 106 and 107. Our first expression is to focus on. And if you focus on something, it means that you pay extra attention to a particular thing.
Yes.
Okay? Want to come out for a beer tonight?
I need to focus on studying for the exam.
Yeah, focus on studying. Well, yeah, if you're a student. Let's focus on the main issue rather than minor details.
Yeah.
I think this is a great expression to use in a company meeting. You know?
Yeah. Let's not look at the things that don't matter.
Right. Let's not talk about that. Let's focus on this.
Focus on the important things.
On the important things, or the main issues.
Yeah.
Okay. What other things can you focus on, Cameron?
Well, for example, we talked about research that focuses on something.
Sure.
Maybe news focuses on a certain issue. When you have an article, there's one main issue, one topic that it will focus on. It won't talk about everything else.
Right.
Or maybe your studies focus on a certain area, a certain field.
Right. Especially if you're in graduate school, you would have to focus on a very specific field.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking too, Cameron? You can focus on yourself. What does that mean?
Oh.
I'm trying to focus on myself.
That means maybe you're not going to really worry about your friends.
Or people, family.
In general.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but it's often like, I have some personal problems I need to figure out.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to emotionally figure some things out.
Yeah, or maybe physically you're not well, so you need to focus on yourself.
Yeah. You kind of can't worry about other people's problems because I have a problem I need to deal with.
Right. And I think this is something that a lot of women who have children, you know, they're so focused on their children, sometimes they forget to focus on themselves from time to time. Okay, in line with.
This means it matches or it goes along with something.
Okay. How do you think the new mayor is doing?
Her actions were in line with what she'd promised.
Okay. So she made some promises and her actions matched those promises.
Yes. So we often use this with politicians. Maybe during the campaign they said one thing.
Right.
And then they get into office and do something different.
Totally.
We would say that they are not in line. Yeah. So you can also say someone's words and actions are not in line. They say one thing, but they do another thing.
Yeah, totally. His ideas are in line with the company's goals.
So the company has goals. They have their motto maybe, or what they're doing. And he is thinking in the same way as his company.
Yeah. People may find themselves in a bit of a dilemma when you are asked to do something, but they are not in line with your personal philosophy or your ethics.
Like your values.
Your values. Right.
Yeah. So often that would be something immoral, something we don't think is good.
Unethical.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
You can also say this. I've heard this before. Someone's actions or a company's actions are in line with the law. So the law has a certain rule. They have many rules.
Right.
And you are following the rules. But often it's like, okay, this may look bad,
but
It's not illegal.
I understand what you're saying.
We're in line with the law.
Right. Well, we didn't break any laws.
Yeah, we didn't break a law.
Right.
It's an awful thing to do, but we didn't break a law.
Yes, that is true. We're in line with the law.
Yeah.
Means we're not breaking any rules. Okay. If you are prone to something, it means that you are likely to experience something. Okay. Why don't you want to buy a house near the river?
That area is prone to flooding during heavy rainstorms.
Yeah. This is why, as time goes on, I don't want to live by the beach. And I don't want to live too far into the mountains, It's like flooding, fire. Yeah, there's a lot of natural disasters happening.
Yes.
Yeah, it's prone to. He is prone to forgetting things, so he writes everything down.
Yes, prone to forgetting things. Or you could be prone to sleeping through your alarm. Even if you have your alarm go off, you don't hear it.
Is that your problem, Cameron?
No, actually, I'm really good at that.
Oh, yeah. You're good at waking up, huh?
I am good at waking up.
I know.
I put my phone in the other room.
Yeah.
And it goes off at 6 a.m.
And you get up?
I have to. There's no way.
6 a.m.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. I cannot get up at 6.
I love my mornings.
Oh, wonderful. You're a morning person, definitely. Also, elderly people are prone to falling.
Yes.
Because they lose their balance, right? Okay. So these are some good examples. Okay. Power pattern is less likely to. So if something is less likely to, the chances of it happening is less.
Yeah, the probability is lower.
Okay. Older dogs are less likely to bite than younger ones.
Yeah, older dogs, they have less energy.
Yeah.
They're not as aggressive.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Bland food is less likely to cause an upset stomach than spicy food.
And that's why Cameron loves bland food.
I love spicy food too.
I know.
Every meal, it does get hard.
Yeah, that was just a joke. It's not because it doesn't upset your stomach. You just like bland food.
I do love bland food.
I know you do. But you also like spicy food.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, so less likely is our power pattern today. And our power vocab is great expression. Unsolicited advice. Meaning, you didn't want the advice, but they gave it to you anyway.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do check out the definition on page 108. And please stop by
Audio 어학당.
Okay. And subscribe for a very small fee. Just tiny. And you can have access to so many wonderful EBS radio programs.
Yes.
Thank you so much for studying with us this past week. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you on Monday.
Bye-bye.